Greetings, one and all, and welcome to this math video. And in this math video, we'll be considering a vectors question. Now, notice the figure that we have before us. What geometrical figure is this? Well, it is indeed a triangle. Yes, it has three sides, and it's a triangle. It's a triangle with vertices O, A, and B. And notice that the vector OA is equal to A, just like how they tell us OA is equal to A. And notice that the vector OB, the vector OB is equal to B. So OB is equal to B. And notice as they're saying that, hey, listen, look at M, right? Look at M. M is the midpoint of this line OB, which means that M is the point that is in the middle of OB, of the whole entire line OB. So M is that middle one. And N is the point on AB such that AN equals 3 over 4 AB. So this point N right here is the point such that AN equals to 3 over 4 AB. All right, so based on that information that they're telling us, they're saying, hey, what I want you to do is I want you to take AB and I want you to express it in terms of AB. I want you to take the vector AB and express it in terms of little a and little b. And I want you to take AN and do the same thing, but do it in simplest terms, right? So when you find the expression, ensure that it's written in simplest terms, that you cannot simplify any further. So with that in mind, and with that goal in mind, and with the understanding of what they want us to do, let us proceed with answering these questions. So we begin first with the question of finding AB. And that is our first question, BI. What is AB? Now, AB, the vector AB, means that we're going to start at the point A and we're going to end at the point B. And how can we get there? Well, what we can do is we can start at A and then go to O, and that's why we have AO. And then after that, we can start from O and then go to B, and that's why we have OB. So in order to get AB, we must go, one way is to go through, we're going to go from A to O. We're going to go and we're going to use the vector AO plus OB. Now notice that the vector AO is going in the opposite direction. So notice that the vector, the vector OA, let's look at the vector OA. The vector OA is heading in this direction, and that vector is A, right? That vector is A. But AO is heading in a next direction. AO is not going in the same direction as OA, it's going in the opposite direction. And so since OA is A, then that means that AO would be negative A because we're going in the opposite direction. And so that's why we have here that that AO is actually going to be equal to negative A. All right, negative A. And so we have OB. What is OB? Right? What is OB? Well, OB means that we're going to start at O and end at B. And from the question, and even from this diagram, we can see that OB is equal to B. Okay, so therefore we have the vector AB equals to negative A plus B. And you can stop right there. This is the answer. But remember that addition is commutative. That is to say that the way we add numbers doesn't matter. That means that 5 plus 3 is equal to 3 plus 5, and 7 plus 8 is equal to 8 plus 7. And so that means that negative A plus B is the same thing as B minus A. I just switch them, and that's totally fine. So we have that AB equals to B minus A. So we're done with that particular one. Next, let us go to the other one. We want to determine what is AN. What is the vector AN? So let us move to this particular question. Notice that in the diagram we have A here and we have N here. So what is the vector an? How can we express that in terms of ab? Notice, let's go back to our question and notice what they tell us. They say that an equals to 3 over 4 ab. That's what they tell us. An equals to 3 over 4 ab. And so let us use that understanding. The vector an is equal to 3 over 4 ab. But what is AB? Remember we saw that AB is B minus A from the previous question. And so that means all we need to do is substitute what AB is. And so that's going to be B minus A. And so AN equals to 3 over 4 B minus A. And that's our answer for this one. Moving right along, let us consider BII or BIII or B triple I. And for B triple I, they're saying we want you to determine what is the vector ON in terms of A and B. You've already considered what AB is and what AN is. Now, what is the vector ON? Notice that the marks went up a bit. Now this is 2 marks, so it's going to be a little more involved. So let's get ready for that. Okay, let us consider ON. Now, ON means that we're going to start at O and we're going to end at N, the point N. We're going to start at O and we're going to end at N. Okay, so what we can do is we can go from O and then go to A. And that's why we have OA here. And we can from A go to N. And that's why we have AN there. And so ON, the vector ON, is OA plus AN. But what is OA? Based on the diagram, we can see that OA is equal to A. So we place A there. But what is AN? How can we get AN? Remember that we just solved for AN. We saw that AN is 3 over 4 B minus A. So that means that ON is going to be equal to A plus 3 over 4 B minus A because we just substitute the value for AN. We just replace it. We just put it in there. Now, let us simplify. So what is 3 over 4 times, and this means times or multiplied by B minus A. What we're going to do is we're going to take the 3 over 4 and we're going to multiply it by B. And that will give us 3 over 4B. And then we're going to take the 3 over 4 and multiply it by A. And that's going to give us the negative 3 over 4A. So again, 3 over 4 times B is 3 over 4B. And 3 over 4 times negative A is going to be equal to negative 3 over 4A. Okay, so let us continue to break this down. So do we have any like terms? Notice that we have A here, right? We have this A term, and we have A here as well. So let's bring this A down, and let us bring this negative 3 over 4A to the side. And so these two are grouped together. That's good because they are like terms. And we're going to take that 3 over 4B and we're going to put it on the other side, all by itself, because there's not another term that is like to this one. But what is A minus 3 over 4A? How can we determine that? What is A minus 3 over 4A? Well, for now, just ignore the A's and just consider the question, what is 1 minus 3 over 4? What is 1 minus 3 over 4? Now, you can think of this A as having an invisible 1 here. So we have 1 minus 3 over 4. What is that? Isn't 1 simply 4 over 4? Because 4 divided by 4 is 1. So this is 4 over 4 minus 3 over 4. So let's say you had a pizza with 4 sides. Sorry, with 4 slices of pizza. And your 4 slices of pizza, and you take away 3 out of the 4 slices. And so let's do that. So you take away this slice, take away this slice, and you take away this slice. So how much slices are you left with? Indeed, you are just left with 1 slice. And so that means that 1 minus 3 over 4, or 4 over 4 minus 3 over 4 is equal to, yes, it's equal to 1 over 4. 1 over 4, because you have 1 out of the 4 pizzas slices left. So it's going to be equal to 1 over 4. Now, what is 1 over 4? Well, sorry, I should say, what does that yield us? What does that give us? Well, that means that 1a minus 3 over 4a is equal to, yes, 1 over 4a. And all we need to do is bring back down the 3 over 4b, and we're done. We're complete with this question, right? Here, we can stop. At this particular line, we can stop. But if you want to factor it out, you can. And that's what I did here. I factor out a 1/4. And so this is the same thing as this. I just wrote it in a different way. And what that means is that we have 1 over 4 multiplied by a, which is going to give us 1 over 4a. And we have 1 over 4 multiplied by 3b, which is going to give us the 3 over 4b. And so this is what ON is. ON is 1 over 4 multiplied by a plus 3b. Let us turn back to our question, and we have one more left, the fourth one. Again, this is 2 marks, so this is also going to be more involved than the first 2 that we did. So let us consider Mn. What is the vector Mn? The vector Mn, so let us look at this. Mn, so we know, we were told from the question that M is the midpoint of this entire line, OB. So M is the point that is in the middle of the line OB. So we're going to start at M right here. And then we're going to go, because we want to go from M to N. So let me make a representation of these points. So this is M, and N is going to be somewhere here. So we want to start at M and end at N. And there are different routes that we can use, but let's use this route. Let us start at M and then go to O. And so we have MO here. That's why we have MO. We start at M and we end at O. And then we're going to move from O straight down to N. So O to N, right? So M to O, then O to N. That's why we have MO plus ON. Now, what is MO? How can we get MO, right? But even before we consider MO, let's consider what OM is. What is the vector OM? Well, we know that the midpoint of OB, we know that M is the midpoint of OB. And so whatever OB is, OM is going to be half of that. So this vector OM is going to be half of the vector OB. What is the vector OB? Well, the vector OB is B, right? So OM is going to be half of the vector OB, and the vector OB is B, so that means that OM is going to be half of B. So again, let us look at this. This entire thing right here, this entire vector, that's B, right? We have it there. They tell us that that's B. But we just want OM. So we just want to start from here and end at here. So what would that be? That would be half of B. And so that's why OM is half of B. So the vector OM is half of B. All right, awesome. So what is then, so we know that the vector OM is half of B. So let's write that down. The vector OM is half of B. So that'll be half of B. All right, so from O to M is half of B. And again, and I should say that we're heading in this direction. Okay, so from O to M in this direction is a half of B. But what if I want to move from M to O? From M to O. So let's use a different color. Let's use red. And we want to start at M and go to O. So we have M to O. Now we're going to start from M and go to O, and notice that this is the opposite direction of OM. So if OM is half of B, then that means that MO is going to be negative a half of B. Okay, so that's why we have a negative here. So MO, right, is going to be equal to negative a half B, right? And indeed, MO is equal to negative OM because they're going in the opposite direction. So MO equals to negative OM, which is equal to negative a half B. So if OM is a half B, then MO is negative a half B. Okay, now that we have that side sorted out, let us look at the other term, ON. ON, let's look at ON. Notice that ON, we know what ON is, right? Remember, we have what OM is because we just solved it. ON is a fourth A plus 3 over 4B. That's what ON is. A fourth A plus 3 over 4B. So let's use that. So we just substitute that expression there. ON is a fourth A plus 3 over 4B. So with that in mind, let us simplify and let us group like terms. So we notice that we have this B term here. So we're going to take this entire a half B. We're going to put it here. We're going to group it with this 3 over 4B. So we're going to put it here. And then we're going to take the fourth A. We're going to take the fourth A and put it all the way by itself. All right, good. So we have grouped them. So now we have to consider negative a half B plus 3 over 4B because we can evaluate that because they are like terms. So let us only consider the coefficients. What is negative a half? All right, what is negative a half plus 3 over 4? A negative of half plus 3 over 4, you can put it in your calculator, and what you will get is that you will get 1 over 4. So negative a half plus 3 over 4 is going to be equal to 1 over 4. Okay, so we have 1 over 4. So that means that we have negative half b plus 3 over 4b equals to 1 over 4b. Okay, so this is 1 over 4b. And then we have 1 over 4a, we just bring it down. Just bring it down so that 1 over 4a plus 1 over 4b. And here we can stop, but what I did is that I just factored out the fourth. You don't have to do this, but I just did it. And a fourth, so we have a fourth times a, which is a fourth a. And we have 1 over 4 1 over 4 times b, which is 1 over 4b. And so mn is going to be equal to 1 over 4 times a plus b. That means, having done that, with that being said, we have completed question BI, B double I, B triple I, and IV. Therefore, we are completed with this question. So thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video.